what's up everyone? I hope everyone is doing lovely on this wonderful and sunny day. I'm a little bit tired, but I'm pushing through this to work on this car today because I'm determined to get this fuel system done. If you're new here and you've never watched any of my videos, welcome. I hope you enjoy the content and I hope you consider sticking around by hitting that subscribe button and the bell icon so that you get notified when I post future videos. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you for sticking around and watching my videos. So those of you who have been following my most recent videos on my new fuel system here, you've already seen them. If you haven't watched any of the other videos, make sure you go check those out. I might not mention certain things here today that I may have mentioned in another video, so you might want to make sure that you check those out to be up to speed on where I'm at here today. So today I'm going to be working on mounting up the fuel pump and the fuel filters, and I'm going to show you what I have come up with in order to mount them up. Without stretching this intro on any further, let's get right into it so I can show you what I have going on. Alright, so I wanted to show you guys this bracket that I came up with. It's basically made out of a strip of aluminum from Home Depot, and I bent it. I know it might not make sense right now, but it goes underneath the car, and this bracket is from Radium Engineering. It holds Bosch 044 pumps, and also it holds Radium Engineering's fuel filters. It holds the both of these side by side. I'm going to be using one fuel filter as a pre-pump, so it's going to filter before it gets to the fuel pump. Then I'm going to be using another fuel filter for after the fuel pump, which will actually be after the surge tank because there's a fuel pump also in the surge tank. So on the ends here of the Radium Engineering fuel filters, it's clearly marked outlet and the other side says inlet. So this inlet side is going to be coming from the fuel cell. So it's basically going to come in here from the fuel cell, out here, and Radium Engineering makes what's called like a port manifold where it has two ports there, two ports on each end. This can be used in multiple ways. One way is you could connect two fuel pumps into one. In my case, the way that I'm going to be using this is to basically act like a U. So I want it to come out of the fuel filter and then back into the fuel pump. So this is going to be coming from the fuel cell. It's going to be coming out here and into this fuel pump, which is the lift pump. Then from here, it's going to be going towards the rear of the car to go into the surge tank. And it'll make more sense to you once you see it underneath the car. So that is how I'm going to use this manifold. If you weren't doing a surge tank, you could just do the fuel filter and then put the pump right in line after the fuel filter and then go to the front of the car. But in my case, I need for it to go backwards to the rear of the car. So with the Radium Engineering fuel filter, these ports are actually 10 AN ORBs. I had to get adapters. The line off of the fuel cell is going to be 8 AN. So this is a 8 AN fitting. So it's 10 AN ORB to the 8 AN. I'm not tightening these. I will go back and tighten everything once I put everything in place and make sure that it fits. I just don't want to be prematurely tightening things and then have to loosen them again, so you're not going to see me tightening these right now. Just a heads up, but you want to make sure that when you're installing them, you tighten them. I wanted to mention that these Radium Engineering fuel filters can come apart. They have an element inside that can be cleaned, so they are reusable, but the element is also replaceable. You can always purchase another one from Radium Engineering. So because I'm going to be using this as just an inlet and an outlet, I have plugs for these ends, so these ends are basically not going to be for anything. So this is one of the plugs, so that goes in here. This manifold comes with a bunch of fittings, and actually when you are ordering this, there are a couple different choices as to the types of fittings that are going to come with it. So you want to make sure that if you're ordering this, you pay attention to what fittings are going to be coming with each of the part numbers. So these ports are 6AN. You can either put 6AN or Bs, or you can just use a regular 6AN fitting and it will fit in there. You just need to make sure that you use a O-ring if you're going to just be using a normal 6AN. So for this one, I'm gonna steal an O-ring from here. The other block off. So it would basically be like that. So once I go under the car, I will show you how this bolts up, and once I get this up in the car, then I can move on with making more lines. I know this bracket is not, you know, perfect, and there are scratches on it, and that is because I do not have a professional bender, and I was basically bending this inside of my vise and with a hammer. It doesn't need to look pretty to get the job done, and I'm pretty proud with how it came out. I think that it is going to serve its purpose by supporting this fuel pump and the fuel filter up underneath the car. I think it looks pretty good. I mainly made this bracket simply because this fuel pump is sort of heavy. I thought I saw pictures of people just letting it hang or be supported by the lines, but I mean, it feels kind of heavy to me, so I figured that it needed something to support it. So there is that bracket that I was showing you guys earlier, that under the car it would make a little bit more sense. So this is the fuel pump, that's the filter. Basically the lines are going to come from here, go in the filter, back around through the fuel pump, and then from the fuel pump it's gonna come to the back of the car, to the surge tank. This is the bracket here that I made, and it bolts up to the car under here. And up behind the fuel pump and this filter, there is another filter, and this filter is the post pump filter that filters the fuel after the fuel pump. So basically this is the pre-filter that filters the gas before it goes to the pump. So it goes through this first, comes through this manifold into the fuel pump, goes back to the surge tank, and then from the surge tank, this is the feed line that goes to the fuel rail, and this is the filter that is in that line to filter the fuel before it gets to the fuel rail. So I have this line done already. This is the one that goes to the fuel rail, and this line is the return line. I have to cut that one and put the fitting on there, but this plastic cover is up there pretty good. The only thing that I think is kind of weird is that Honda has a metal bracket for this one in the middle here, but then for this one and another one further up, it's just like plastic, so it kind of like leans down. They should have put a metal bracket and it would have supported it a little bit better. I might have to figure out a way to kind of pin this up a little bit. It's not really sagging, but it could be a little bit better, but it's not going anywhere. But that is how the fuel lines are gonna run there. And then I have to do the other side of this fuel filter up here, and that'll go back to the surge tank. And also this one off of the fuel pump goes back to the surge tank. So let's get making some more lines.
Alright, so I'm going to end the video here today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, anything, please leave that in a comment down below. Make sure you stay tuned and make sure you are subscribed and hit that bell icon so you get the notifications when I post the future videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace!